Alissa Ketner, Osceola, CCLA, Level 2. Stop crying! Shut up! I can't handle this! These are some things you would hear a mother with postpartum depression say. Hi, I'm Alissa. Today I'm going to share with you some important information about postpartum depression. I feel people are not aware about how postpartum depression can affect more than just a grieving and stressed new mother. Did you know that 1 in 7 women suffer from postpartum depression? Postpartum depression is a mood disorder that affects mothers after childbirth. Oftentimes, the mother will experience extreme sadness, excessive crying, exhaustion, and anxiety. This can make the completion of daily tasks unmanageable. Postpartum depression can occur any time after childbirth, but typically 1 to 3 weeks after having a baby. Postpartum depression is a kind of perinatal depression that happens during pregnancy or after a child is born. This is the most common complication affecting new mothers. For half of women with postpartum depression, it is their first time experiencing depression. If you have postpartum depression with one pregnancy, you are 50% more likely to have it again with another. There is no single cause for postpartum depression, but likely results from a variety of physical and emotional factors. After you give birth, your hormone levels, progesterone and estrogen, drop very quickly, causing sudden chemical reactions that occur in your brain. These reactions can cause extensive mood swings, and to compound the problem, many women are unable to get the rest they need to recover due to having the baby. Some other symptoms that occur while having postpartum depression are feeling hopeless and emptiness, having trouble concentrating, physical pains, withdrawing from friends and family, and not being able to properly bond with the baby. Only a healthcare provider can diagnose postpartum depression, but many women are afraid to go get the help they need. A doctor can decide the best treatment, which might include counseling or talk therapy. Prescribed antidepressant medications is another form of treatment. While medications are generally considered safe while breastfeeding, risks and benefits to the mother and baby should be considered. If they don't get treatment, the postpartum depression could last for months or even years. This could put a lot of strain on the relationships of the mothers and their friends and family. Postpartum depression can make it difficult for a mom to care for herself and for her baby. This is why it's important to recognize as soon as possible. If it is left untreated, the mom may skip postpartum checkups and not follow instructions from her healthcare provider. The mom may find it hard to bond with the baby. The baby may not breastfeed for long, and breast milk is the best source of nutrients for a young child. The baby may not get the medical care he or she needs because postpartum can cause moms to not bond with the baby and not care for them, and they might miss things like feedings or vaccinations. The child may also have learning behavior and development problems or mental health issues later in life. Because this is such a common problem among new moms, it is vital to raise awareness in order to address the issue of postpartum depression. Family members and friends may be the first to recognize postpartum depression in a new mother. They will be some of the first people to be affected and should encourage her to talk with her healthcare provider and offer her emotional support and assist with daily tasks like taking care of the baby or cleaning up the home. Others in mom support system might include resources such as childbirth educators, doulas, lactation consultants, prenatal fitness instructors, and countless others in the family and consumer science related careers. These individuals would be the first to recognize symptoms, would be the first people interacting with new moms, and they should help her and encourage her to get help. In order to address my concern that people are not aware of postpartum depression and the effect it can have on mothers and children, I wanted to start by raising awareness with postpartum depression at my school. My goal was to inform and educate my peers about postpartum depression and the effect it has on a child's development. I researched postpartum depression, how it affects families, and other information about it. Then I interviewed 3 women so I could get an inside perspective. My first interview was with a woman who experienced postpartum depression following the birth of her second son, who has Down syndrome. Through this interview, I learned that postpartum depression had a huge impact on her relationship, not only with her new baby, but with her husband and older son as well. She told me that her support system of friends and family was a huge help during this time, and that her husband was the one who recognized that there was a problem and suggested seeking medical help. My second interview was with a mom who had postpartum depression with her third child. She indicated it didn't have a huge impact on the relationship with her children, but caused her to be very emotional and withdrawn in the evenings. The third mom I interviewed shared that she experienced postpartum depression with the second of her three children. This occurred during an emotionally abusive relationship and throughout the divorce. Postpartum depression had a significant impact on her ability to bond with her child and carry out daily tasks. She also had to quit breastfeeding in order to take postpartum depression medication. I continue to research postpartum depression and how important the relationship between a mom and baby is. I used online resources such as the National Institute of Mental Health and postpartumdepression.org. Next, I prepared a presentation using Google Slides to give to 3 different family and consumer science classes: family living and parenting, high school health, and junior high health. I created a pre and post quiz to evaluate the effectiveness of my presentation, which I measured in a bar graph. I completed the 3 presentations on January 22nd, 2021. Students were very focused on the content I used, and the video that I used as an attention getter at the beginning proved to be very effective, as I noticed several students tearing up when the mothers told their sad stories. Questions they asked during the presentations showed me that they were paying attention and actually cared about the information I was giving them. I had students complete the quiz before and after the presentation so I could evaluate if the information was being remembered. I also created a bulletin board outside the family and consumer science classes to raise awareness with our student body and staff. I included pictures of mothers and babies. One picture included a happy, well-bonded mother and baby, while a second illustrated a mother and baby in distress. I felt these pictures showed the impact of postpartum depression. I also included other information supporting the facts about postpartum depression and the impact it can have on family members. During this project, I learned a lot of things I didn't know about postpartum depression. I found it interesting how many people didn't really know anything about postpartum depression. One thing I enjoyed was how the students were actually focused and they were retaining the information I was giving them. I hope they use this information when they're older to help themselves or others. This topic became even more important to me when my aunt became pregnant. She is at higher risk for postpartum depression due to issues following the birth of a previous pregnancy. In summary, my project addressed the issue of raising awareness of postpartum depression with my peers at Osceola Junior Senior High. I completed research including personal interviews and online research to create a bulletin board and presentations to be shared with students in order to increase knowledge and awareness as measured by a quiz. My presentation stressed key points regarding postpartum depression, including it needs treated to get better. It's the most common problem for new moms. Postpartum depression can make it extremely difficult to care for oneself and baby, and it's treated by counseling or medication. During my project, I learned how important the bond between a mother and child is. This taught me not to judge children for their behavior because you never know how someone's life at home is. Because of medical complications and COVID, our chapter experienced some major setbacks and was very behind. We also currently have an interim advisor who is just learning the ropes of SCCLA. I have had to be very patient and work very hard to get my project completed. Thank you for your time.